Welcome to another episode of Chronicles of a Nigerian Woman. My name is Fagbeja. Today, I'll be reading Victoria's story. I am the last of 3 children, an only girl. When I was 8, one of my distant cousins came to live with us. He was 18 and came from Ilorin to Lagos to write his JAMB. My brothers were in boarding school already, so I was the only one at home. My parents left me in Uncle Henry's care between when I got back from school and when they arrived from work. Before he came, I stayed at a neighbor's place, so it was a relief that I could now stay at home. The first day he abused me was about 3 months after he arrived. He came into my room as I was changing after I got back from school. He told me that he wanted to teach me something that mature girls do. I knew what he was doing was wrong. It felt wrong, but after he was done, he cried and pleaded with me not to tell my parents because they would send him away. I felt sorry for him because I had never seen an adult cry. After this, it happened 2 or 3 times a week, and each time he would plead with me not to tell anyone. He would buy me all kinds of snacks and even novels. He used his hands on me and made me massage him while he did. My parents decided not to send me to boarding school like my brothers, and he got admission to a polytechnic in Lagos after 2 years of trying. He kept going from home, so the abuse continued for about 5 years. I was 13 when I could finally muster up the courage to tell him to stop. He cried and pleaded with me, saying he did not have anyone to help him get satisfied. But I was now more aware and I stood my ground, so he left me alone. I had always been quiet and introspective, so my parents did not notice any change, especially since I made the extra effort to cover it up. When I got into university at 17, I was an extreme introvert and loner. I kept to myself and had no friends. I felt that people would get to know my story if they got close, so I avoided becoming friendly with anyone. In my second year, I went to study overnight towards exam time. I dozed off and didn't realize when the small class where I was became empty. I woke up to someone pushing me, and before I could shout, he brought out a small knife from his pocket and showed it to me. I was raped. I felt dirty and ashamed for allowing it to happen to me one more time. I had no one to tell, so I kept it to myself, hoping and praying that I would not get pregnant. I stopped going to read outside the hostel and kept to myself even more. I decided to join a fellowship and become committed. I went to one of the conservative ones and changed my dressing. I stopped wearing jewelry or any form of makeup. I wore only long, loose clothes, stopped wearing trousers, and started covering my head. I wanted to be ugly and unattractive. In my final year, I went to submit an assignment to one of my lecturers. I met him on the corridor and followed him to his office. When we got in, he told me that he had his sights set on me because he could see the beauty underneath all my plainness. The alarm bells went off in my head and I backed towards the door. He smiled. I tried to open the door, but he had locked it. I pleaded with him, but he did not listen. Shame, guilt, and fear were running through my head at the same time. How did I get myself into this yet again? I should have known better. It was my fault. I must have done something to set him off. I resigned and switched off in my head. He raped me. I did not even shout because I believed I brought it on myself. It was about 4 in the afternoon, and his office was at the far end of the building. He did not even care that I was in my period. When he was done, he took my assignment from the floor where it was dropped, threw some tissue at me, and asked me to hurry up and leave his office. This time, I could not even cry. I looked at myself and felt hatred. I just wanted to hide away from the world. I wished myself dead. I managed to pull myself through the rest of school because I needed to pretend to be as normal as possible to keep my secret intact. It was during my service year that I met my husband. Somehow, he was persistent and managed to break through my defenses. This was the first time I had a personal friend. I told him about all the abuse and rape. I was prepared for him to leave because surely nobody wanted someone like me. But he wept like a baby the day I told him, and he promised me that we would work through it together. We got married right after service, and the first year was difficult, but I got into therapy, and slowly things became better. I have been married for 6 years, and I am grateful to have the best husband in the world. I took a course and started working as a guidance counselor for secondary school students about 2 years after I got married. Please share your thoughts about Victoria's story in the comments below. Remember to subscribe to my channel and to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos.